My name is Gudrun Doll Tepper and I'm a professor of sports science and educational sciences at the Freie University of Berlin. I'm also currently Vice President of the German Olympic Sports Confederation and Chairperson of the German Olympic Academy, which is also an organization, an institution that deals with educational and Olympic matters. I'm also advisor to the International Council of Sports Science and Physical Education, an organization that I led as president for 12 years. Yeah, it's always interesting how people get involved in a particular field of expertise. My approach started very early when I was a student of physical education at the university in Berlin, because I had the opportunity to work with children with cerebral palsy in a rehabilitation center. And at the same time, I was also offered a position as a physical education teacher in a special school for children with learning disabilities and intellectual disabilities. So it's a very practical background, which also then led me to look into theoretical and scientific matters in that field. With regard to the area of adapted physical education or adapted physical activity, I think that we have to take into consideration the changes that have occurred in societies and in particular in the education system. And when it all started in the 1950s in the United States with adapted physical education, the focus was mainly on special school settings and what could be offered to children with disabilities who could not participate in regular physical education. So, although I'm aware that such a system exists in some countries still, we have seen enormous change over time. And today, in particular, since we have the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, we are now trying to change our school systems so that children with disabilities have an opportunity to participate in regular schools, which means also in regular physical education. And I think this is a very for some dramatic change in the philosophy, and it is not to separate these children and young people anymore, but really give them the opportunity to participate like everybody else with choices. And I think this is not only true for the education system, it is true for all the areas in society, including sport. Well, this change in attitude, this change in the system has of course consequences, and that means that, for example, in the training of professionals, of teachers for example, we have to make sure that these young professionals really have a very good basic knowledge and also have opportunity to practice physical education in settings which are inclusive. So that, I think, is a very big challenge for those who are starting their professional career. But we have also to take into consideration those who are already in the school system, and we have to offer a particular training for them so that they are not blocking because they feel that they were not prepared enough, they do not know what to do with children with disabilities, and many of them, that's the reaction I hear, are not very optimistic that they can do it, and that would not help the whole development at all if they would exclude themselves from this process of inclusion.